Every single musician needs to see this anime. It doesn't matter if you've just picked up an instrument, been playing casually for years, a professional player, or a music god like Tim Henson. Which, Tim, if you're watching, thanks. You wanna come over sometime and talk about Berserk? It's not like a date or anything like that. Which, it wouldn't be a date. I wouldn't think it's that. Which is fine. But I have a wife. That made it weird. Okay, Blue Giant is the best anime for you, regardless of where you are on your music journey. Blue Giant follows Dai Miyamoto, a young man following his dream of becoming the greatest jazz player. He moves from his hometown to Tokyo, moves in with a buddy, gets a construction job to pay the bills, and practices saxophone every other moment of the day. He finds other musicians to form a band with. Tamada, the buddy he moved in with, plays the drums, and Yukinori plays piano. The rest of the film follows their journey as musicians trying to play a gig at the best jazz club in Tokyo, So Blue. That's honestly the whole plot. It sounds simple, and a lot of musicians may have lived this life or are even currently living it, but this movie isn't trying to tell this grand, over-the-top story telling everyone that with hard work, your dreams will become real. It tells a very realistic story with themes of self-expression, the importance of perseverance and passion, handling adversity, and how your journey with music will change you. But maybe not the way you expect. Blue Giant opens with Dai practicing saxophone in the freezing cold, talking to himself that he yearns to be the greatest jazz musician in the world. He moves to Tokyo and immediately deals with the hustle and bustle of the big city, but he finds a place to practice and continues to play all alone, yet still giving it his all. I will say that this part of the movie is rushed, and Dai's character development isn't too deep at first. It is easy to just think that he is this naive young kid who thinks that if you work hard, then you get rewarded. There isn't really a flashback to hardships or traumas that make Dai seem more complicated or why he has such an obsessive drive. It's harder to connect with him like the other characters we meet, but this is strictly because of the pace the anime needs to take to get to the important stuff. The Blue Giant manga is made up of multiple volumes with more backstory, and this movie only focuses on the first arc. My point of this is that it is very well written, but if you want more background information, then you can enjoy the manga as well. The one thing that manga pages don't have is music, and the anime brings the heat with this soundtrack. It is composed by jazz pianist Hiromi Uehara, and even if you don't enjoy jazz, you will still feel the music. Tracks are catchy, energetic, and put on full display. The anime is very aware that music is a core part of the story, so they fill it with music video style animations of Dai and his band giving an electric performance with colorful and mesmerizing 2D animations. Since musical performances are difficult to draw, for example, fingers are hard enough to draw even if they aren't flying across a piano, the anime uses 3D models at times, and you will notice them immediately. I have seen a lot of reviews criticize the anime for this specifically. To be honest with you, I don't care. Like, is that bad that I don't care? To me, the music and the deep themes are what's important here. I mean, I've seen a lot of weird stuff in anime. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is my favorite anime, and just look at this big, buff, beefcake man. That's odd, and I love looking at it. This video is just not helping me. Animation and music aside, the real story is told through the three main characters, Dai, Tamada, and Yukinori. Every musician can relate to at least one of these guys or knows someone like them. They are such an authentic look at the different mindsets musicians have, and that really is what makes the anime so special. Because it is these mindsets that make you reflect on not just yourself as a musician, but as a human being. Dai is a very real and energetic version of a musician. He is passionate, and his attitude is noble, yet naive. He is either going to become the greatest jazz musician in the world, or become the greatest jazz musician in the world. There is no failure. The only thing that prevents this from happening is himself. He constantly is practicing, surrounding himself with the music scene, and doing everything he needs to survive so he can continue to play jazz. He even takes up running without the proper equipment, strictly so his lungs can improve so he can play better. He walks into a big gig with destroyed shoes because that is all he has and all he cares about. On the surface, his attitude may make your eyes roll, especially if you've been pursuing music for years. He strongly believes that because he works hard, he will become the greatest. He isn't explicitly after tons of money or a sea of fans, but he wants to be considered a jazz legend like the players he has listened to. Yukinori challenges his attitude at the beginning, saying that just because someone practices a lot and works hard doesn't mean they are destined for greatness. And Yukinori even admits that he will use Dai as a stepping stone to reach greater heights. To Yukinori's surprise, Dai is that good. In only 3 years of playing, the hard work really really paid off. Yukinori realizes that Dai has been practicing constantly within those 3 years and got so talented so fast that it actually makes him cry. Dai is a foil to hardened musicians with a cynical attitude that is brought about from the hardship of the music industry. A lot of musicians look to blame the industry, social media algorithms, their location, fans, or anything else, and those points can be very fair, but it never bothers Dai. When the world throws difficulties at him, it is like the quote from Marcus Aurelius, "The obstacle is the way." It is a new challenge for Dai to tackle, not something for him to blame. Dai isn't fooling himself saying that a 30-minute practice session is enough to be the greatest. Unlike many people who feel they are owed something from the universe, Dai is completely aware of the work he is putting in to reach his goal because he knows how unfathomable it is to reach that goal. This attitude is inspiring and also empowering to those around him. Tamada is a totally different type of musician than Dai. He was a soccer player but quit when he realized that his teammates don't share the same drive as he does. He agrees to play the drums for Dai even though he has no experience whatsoever. The reason he is willing to play drums among two amazingly talented musicians is that he views it as a new way to challenge himself. He wants to fill that competitive void that was created when he quit soccer. He never competes against his bandmates or other drummers or haters. His competition is strictly himself. He wants to be a better version of himself. He arguably has the healthiest mindset out of the trio because he focuses on personal growth and the camaraderie that comes with being in a band. He wants to not only do great for himself, but for his bandmates. This is why he is so hard on himself. He plans to even quit the band at a point because the pressure within him is even greater than the pressure outside of him. Instead, he takes lessons and practices till his fingers are cut up and sore. Though Tamada is outclassed by the others, his drive, discipline, and attitude is inspiring and very relatable. Conversely, however, Yukinori is the opposite and a cautionary tale to musicians at any point in their life. He has the skills and isn't afraid to show them off. The first time Dai sees him perform, he wants to play with him. He knows all the tricks, but that is actually his biggest downfall. Along with his cocky attitude, he can play, write, perform, but it is also robotic. He lacks feel. In his quest to be a perfect musician, he is losing what makes him unique as a player. It is like he isn't having fun when he is playing and instead just working. In contrast, all Dai plays is with feel, and it not only sounds good, but captures every listener's attention. He creates an experience when he plays. Even Tamada plays with passion, but Yukinori is in a rough place thinking he is an amazing musician and not realizing he is missing a key piece of the puzzle. The anime explores how each character handles their mindset on their journey, but it uses this to explore very real problems and concerns that all musicians face and gives viewers something to reflect on. The anime doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties of being in a band and gigging around a major city. It regularly shows the hardships the bandmates are going through in contrast to all the hard work each is putting in and the sacrifices they are making. The anime teaches the importance of not just being passionate, but persevering to keep that passion alive. Remember the band's goal that I mentioned earlier? It isn't to travel the world, get picked up by a huge label, or have millions of screaming fans. It is to play at the best club in Tokyo. All the hard work they are putting in is to only reach one step of their long journey. But while you're working hard and making sacrifices, you also still have to have fun. Blue Giant urges musicians to find the balance of making a career in music. Music is supposed to be fun at its core. No one picks up a guitar with only the intent of making a lot of money like it's a business. No, it's fun to rock out. It is fun to play with others. It is fun to play for a crowd, but you also have to practice and find gigs to have that fun. This is what makes Tamada so likable. Even in all the pain, tears, and doubts, he is having fun growing as a musician. He loves the process. When you truly love every aspect of it and not just the rewards sprinkled along the way, you can't burn out. You can't stop because it becomes a part of you. This is really where Blue Giant stands out the most. Though it tells a story about a band working hard in the music scene, it is really showcasing how music can challenge you as a human being. The anime makes it clear that not everyone is going to be a famous jazz player. The hard work and sacrifices made now are not going to translate into dollar signs and fans, but each of these musicians become better, not just at their instrument, but in their own life. They aren't just learning how to play a riff, but learning how to manage their time, creating better habits, and realizing what they actually value. They are maturing, and that alone is an important skill in life. The anime is really about the places that music will take you and how it can change your life. I'm actually a decent example of that. Wires Don't Talk was a band before it transformed into creating content, and this led me to meeting new friends, getting rid of some bad habits, and exploring anime, manga, kaiju stories, and more. I would have never watched this movie before I started this channel, and I would have missed out on a lot of amazing experiences. That's the reward that following your passion can bring. It's fair that we all think we are die and we are all going to become the greatest musician, but really only one of us can become the greatest musician. When we open up our mind and love the process and grow in both music and ourselves, it creates opportunities for us to achieve things we never thought possible. It may not be as luxurious, but it can certainly be fun, which at its core is what music is supposed to be. Blue Giant is a fantastic anime with a great soundtrack and well-written characters. Even if you aren't a jazz fanatic, you'll still enjoy the ride and maybe even learn something about yourself. Everyone is in a different spot in their musical journey, and the anime captures the hardships, rewards, and mindsets of musicians. I am hoping for more movies in the future to see where Dai goes and the lessons his path can teach. When anime utilizes music, it can leave a lasting impression on viewers, or even the whole world, much like how one anime is responsible for the rise of lo-fi hip-hop. And to hear more about that, you could check out this video right here.